Hello and welcome back to Articulate with Stephen McJones. This week we got Mr. Pete Eckenroth back again, redemption round, baby. Because he was so pissed that we just talked about Weezer last time that he wanted to come on and actually talk about something he was super passionate about, and it was very informative. So, long episode, but please, have fun and enjoy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Pete, how you doing, sir?
What's up, skaters? How you guys doing?
Dude, I'm so pumped. I was actually, before today, I knew you had an idea of what you wanted to talk about, but I didn't know exactly. I thought you were gonna. You were walking in today. I'm like, all right, what are we talking about, Pete? Because there's so many different things we could talk about.
Yeah,
there's so many directions we could go. So what are we talking about today, Pete?
Talking about the Boy Scouts of America.
The Boy Scouts of America.
About the good old BSA, baby.
Have you ever seen Zodiac before, the movie?
Yes, I've seen the movie Zodiac.
Yeah, it's so good. But one of my favorite parts is where he's like, "What are you, a Boy Scout?" And he's just like, "Yeah, Eagle Scout, first class." Yeah, so tell us, when did you start? Were you forced into it? Because, how does that work? I think most Boy Scouts are forced into it.
I think there's some, I would plan on forcing if I have young boys, to force them into the Scouts. Just because, it was sick. Honestly, though, my dad was a Boy Scout growing up, and he only made it to life. He made one rank away from Eagle. And I think it's definitely one of his biggest, regrets. So he didn't hammer through. So, when I was old enough to, be a Tiger Cub, he was like, "Yo, Scouts are sick. You should do it." So it was kind of initially just, guided into it. And my mom really was against it at first. Because she was like, "Isn't that, all, Republican shit?"
Yeah.
Because it is a very conservative organization, or it was up until fairly recently when they started allowing trans kids and... girls into the Scouts. Because now it's no longer the Boy Scouts of America. Now it's just Scouting of America. They've taken the boy out of it. Because Girl Scouts suck.
But they have really good cookies. So
that's all they have, though. They genuinely... my sister, she didn't get her gold award. She got the silver, which is the equivalent of making life. But, she wanted to do Girl Scouts because my mom is my brother's, Cub Scout mom. The den leader. She's like, "Oh, this is so sick." She was going on all the trips with us.
Yeah.
With my brother's den. And then she's like, "Oh, this is sick. I want to be a Girl Scout." And then Girl Scouts are like, "We're sewing. And we're selling cookies." And she was like, "That's okay."
Yeah,
it never got exciting. It's no part of it is high adventure, and no part of it is going camping. Yeah. When they do go camping, they're in a
What cabin. Are they scouting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And do I think the Girl Scouts are probably great? Yeah. Every single female member of the Senate currently was a Girl Scout.
Really?
Yeah. It's a huge, overwhelming,
I didn't know that.
amount of them. So, obviously, Girl Scouting, scouting has to be good on all parts, but, the BSA is fucking rad.
Yeah.
It's always been rad.
Yeah.
So everyone's a Tiger Cub. It's, first graders.
Yeah, I was a Tiger Cub.
Yeah.
I don't have much experience with it, but I did that little, the derby, the race car.
Pinewood Derby?
Pinewood Derby.
Yeah, so growing up, we did the Pinewood Derby. When you're a Tiger Cub in my pack, you did the Rain Gutter Regatta instead of the Pinewood Derby, which was you effectively made a boat out of the wood, and then you had to blow it through a straw down to the end of a gutter.
Was it as big of an event? Because the Pinewood Derby
it was only for it was during the same time as the Pinewood Derby. It was going on in the corner of the thing for all the little kids. I think my pack was maybe let's not give first graders tools. Maybe that's not the best. You have larger hands in second grade. Maybe you're big enough to hold a coping saw now.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I did that. My best finish in the Pinewood Derby, I came in third one year, so we got to the district races.
That's tight.
That's pretty cool.
Is that, like I said, I feel at some point it's not really your decision. So do you, was your interest always, when you first started, it was always tight, or you were always super into it?
There was, I think I got the most resistance, from my friends for being in Boy Scouts earlier, and then eventually they're like, "This is what Pete does." I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, all my friends that were playing, because I don't know, I played sports growing up too, but Scouts was always the thing that I was if it was a Boy Scout meeting or a Little League practice, I was going to Scouts every time. There was no discussion about that. But that would have been my choice as well. I've never been good at anything other than Boy Scouts and comedy. I shit you not. I was never like I was good at school as a little kid, but like I was never good at school post like 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like it was always been an uphill battle educationally. But Scouts, I was always shiny. It was always like, oh, this kid fucking, he's good with nature. He gets his,
the knots.
Okay, did you get to actual Boy Scouts or just like Cub Scouts?
Just Cub Scouts.
Okay, because the thing is that like when you're a Cub Scout, it's like you go up every year and you like just get to the next level.
Yeah.
It's age based.
Right.
When you get to Boy Scouts, it's just like, here's the book.
Yeah.
Start doing shit. It's like,
and that's how you get the badges.
Yeah, not the badges. That's how you gain ranks.
Okay.
Is that like you start up and like, okay, so like you sign up for Boy Scouts. You're not even officially a Boy Scout until you've completed the first rank of Scout.
Okay.
And like most of those are pretty. All of it's very easy.
Yeah.
It's like you need to acquire the Scout uniform.
That's the first thing.
First one is like pay your dues, sign up to be a Boy Scout, decide to be a Boy Scout. Number 2 is like get your Scout uniforms. Number 3 is like attend 5. I want to say it's like 6 to 8 meetings, just like to make sure you're sticking with it. That like you're not going to show up and like bail on it immediately. And then it's like tie square knot, which is like just the entry level. Like this is you're gonna be fucking about ropes for this next couple sections.
The square knot, the monkey chain, the monkey's fist, the monkey.
So all up until first class, so the rankings are so you have Scout, Tenderfoot, second class, first class. Those are all objective things where it's like you need to go on this many, you need to spend this many nights camping. You have to spend this many nights camping in a row. You need to like know this, and this first aid, know these knots.
Right.
Then they start getting abstract when you get into Boy Scouts. Like so Cub Scouts, like shows Tiger. Tiger's first grade, you're a wolf in second grade. 3rd grade, you're a bear. And then you're a Weeblo for 2 years. Weeblo stands for the only non-animal rank in Cub Scouts stands for Will Be Loyal Scouts.
These guys are in it for
They're in it, dude. They're in it, and the Cub Scout logo is a big wolf named Akela. And I shit you not, yeah, that's like we'll follow Akela and we will obey the law of the pack. That's
really
the end of like the Cub Scout promise.
I mean that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Following Akela, what was it? A lion.
It's a giant wolf.
A giant wolf. Okay.
It's a giant wolf.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so I mean, was it? I guess like when did you know you were good at it?
Oh, I mean, like, I always liked it. I always found, like, the tactile, like, oh, I do well at Cub Scout camp this year. Because, like, when you're, like, a little kid, you go to, like, effectively just day camp for a week or 2 a year with Cub Scouts. And it's like, if I do well enough shooting archery, they're like, I'll get a new belt loop.
Yeah.
This is sick.
That is.
And that was
and archery is cool.
And that was enough for me, yeah. And, like, I think stuff like that was fun. And also that, like, I think inherently early on gave value to things that, like, my friends didn't think were cool that I thought were cool. Like, there was no... The closest thing to nature that my friends were familiar with is when they had to play in the outfield. You know what I mean? There was no, like... So, like, when I was like, oh, I like plants. This is cool. Yeah. They're like, there was a place for me to do that in Scouts. It was like, oh, if you like nature, there's a whole world of things that we can, like... that you can learn about. This is what you can do. This is the stuff. If you go to your first like grade classroom and you're like, I like plants. You're like, oh, this kid's autistic. Like, yeah. There was no like, oh, I don't know. I like sitting outside. I like going on walks in the woods. Like there was no place for that. Yeah. So like I get that. A lot of nerdier things that I enjoyed as a kid were rewarded in Scouts as opposed to being like shat upon.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So yeah, I thought.
Well, my question also, I don't know if you want to get into this now or like later, but like the friend dynamic, like I mean, is there the people that you do Scouts with? Did they become like your group or like?
There's like to a certain extent, there's like a militaristic bond there, where like the kids. So like, I was lucky enough that like I went from like a pretty big pack of kids. So there's probably like 15 kids my year of Scouts growing up, and most of them stuck with it for like most of the time I was a kid. So, like, I had, like, a really strong core of, like, 6 to 8 friends that were, like, every Monday night I knew that I was going to be seeing them. Nice. And a lot of them I played Little League with still, so, like, there was still enough, like, overreach. But I was also very autistic about my friends growing up. But, like, I didn't like them to mix. Or, like, these are my friends from Scouts, and these are my friends from Little League. And, like,
Yeah, we don't like to mix
there's no need
business and
there's
pleasure.
no need to invite everybody to the birthday party. We're only inviting 4 friends because I know they all like each other.
Yeah.
And like as like an 8-year-old, I was like, no, I don't need a party. Can you just bring like 4 of my friends to the movies? And like, can we just go see a cool movie? And then, like, can we go see Paul Blart Mall Cop or Alvin and the Chipmunks? And then so like I did it all as a kid, and like nothing crazy happened. And then I guess I really got hooked as a Weeblo, because like then you're getting your belt loops. In addition to that, you have to get those Weeblos pins. Okay, which is like in order to get your Arrow of Light, which is the highest award.
It's called what?
Your Arrow of Light.
That's pretty tight.
When you're in Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that that if you earn it, it's the only thing that stays on your Boy Scout uniform from when you bridge over from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts.
Oh, wow.
And yes, there is a physical bridge that they put on the floor, and you have to walk over it. It's like college signing day. You announce what troop you're going to, and then you walk over the bridge.
That's pretty tight.
It was pretty tight.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking.
It's a big celebration.
It's kind of rad. Yeah, you got a big ass walking stick. It's nice.
A walking, nice.
You got a nice walking stick. It's a good time. Or like Jamie's troop got arrows.
Really?
When he did it. I was like, that's kind of sick.
That's what I mean. It's like with your being called what is it, Light of Arrow.
The arrow. So the Arrow Light's an award.
Yeah,
That's if you get all of your. So you need to, in order to get done being a Weeblo to bridge over, you have to get 10 of the 20.
Okay.
Like Weeblo pins, which are like specialized belt, like merit badges, I guess, to be like, you know, and a lot of those are just like broad sciencey things. Like this is the scientist pin, this is the geologist pin, this is like the physical fitness one or whatever. A lot of them are overreaching onto my Boy Scout sash. That are like merit badges you have to get. Yeah. So you bridge over, and then you do these like.
You don't get an arrow.
You get the Arrow of Light. You get some sort of tactile thing. Right. To be like, you're done. You've gotten through it, and then it's just like a small square. It's a blue rectangle with a yellow arrow on it. It's the Arrow of Light. It's the only thing you're allowed to keep from your Cub Scout uniform to go onto your Boy Scout uniform, which is kind of like the way that you know who got into it late and who didn't. Because if you didn't get your Arrow of Light, that means you probably weren't. You weren't either into Scouts when you were a Cub Scout, or that you like stumbled into being a Boy Scout as a teenager, which is like also you get a couple of, but the way Boy Scouts is set up is kind of not built for that. Girl Scouts is built for you to it finds you where you're at and it's like join where everyone else your age is. Right. So like if you've never done Girl Scouts ever. And you start when you're 17, you immediately start working on your Gold Award. The equivalent of making Eagle Scout. Because they're like, there's no, like, you just start where you're at. Right. With Boy Scouts, if you start 3 days before your 18th birthday, you're at the same place as the 11-year-old that is bridged over. Like, there's no chance to make up. The later you start, the less time you have to ever make it to the top thing. Yes,
you have to do it by the time you're 18?
Yeah, when you're 18, you age out of Boy Scouts.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And there are ways to, like, still be involved and not... Once you turn 18, like, there's... I'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, yeah. But, like... Jumping the gun.
So, the first couple of ranks, they're mostly menial tasks. They're just, like, learn how to tie this knot, learn how to do this first aid. And like
a little bit harder than the Cub Scouts.
Significantly harder. Okay. Yeah, and it's all do at your own pace. They're not coming and grabbing you and being like, "We're all doing this today." You're in a Boy Scout meeting, a Cub Scout meeting when you were going like once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. Was like there was like a guided activity you're all doing. You're all as a group trying to work on this thing. Boy Scouts, it's like fuck it. If you want to... I have friends that were in Scouts from the time I started Scouts until they aged out that never got above second class.
How many classes are there again?
There's you start a Scout, Tenderfoot, second class, first class, Star, Life, Eagle. There's 7. Oh, okay. I know people that were in there that never got past Tenderfoot, and they were in there the entire time just hanging out. Yeah. Just hanging out with their friends. And that's cool. Like, that is definitely firmly an aspect of it. It's like, I get a guaranteed time to hang out with my friends every week. Right. But, like... I don't know. You always gotta work on shit, and you gotta be the kind of it's the only thing I'm also self-disciplined about is in comedy and Scouts.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it sounds a little similar because there are people that just go out and do open mics just to hang out with people.
Yeah, and they have no intention of getting funnier. Right. Or, like, don't think that this is a track that they're going to have success in. So like this will be fun. But like, yeah, you kind of have to like early on be like, all right, I want to be because only like. I want to say it's less than 1% of people that join Boy Scouts ever make it to Eagle. So So, like, it's a pretty fucking significant, like, chunk of... Most people don't make it. Like, most people either bail... And it gets progressively harder to make Eagle the longer you stay in. Okay. Because, like, nature happens, man. What 17-year-old is like, I don't want to have a job so I can buy a car. I don't want to be going out on dates. I don't want to be... Instead, I want to work on Boy Scout stuff. Yeah. Like, so my dad didn't make it. My dad loved Scouts thoroughly. Stayed until he aged out. But he got to a certain point where it was just like, I can't...
Put more time and energy.
That it was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to go on dates. I want to have a cool car. I want to like I want to play high school football. Yeah. And like, you kind of have to sacrifice some of those things to be like, look, like I can't make the commitment to do. I could run cross country and track because I went to practices for that. It was like, show up. We need to watch you run X amount of miles around this track. And then you can go home. Like, I need to make sure that you're still physically capable of performing the event that you're assigned. Other than that...
that's what I liked about
We don't care if you're winning. We don't care if you're losing. You run the mile? Okay, cool. Run 4 miles around the track, and then you're good. Right. And it's like, okay, fuck it. Hell yeah, 16 laps, I can do that.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. But, like, I was running on average from, like, high school, like, 7 miles a day. Because I was just...
Yeah, so I mean, in Boy Scouts, was there any physical, like, aspect to it? Anything that you had to keep up
so with? You have to get your... Okay, so this will be a good transition into merit badges. Okay. So the first couple ranks, it's all tactile things. Like, tie this, do this first aid, go on this many camping trips. After that, it starts being time and merit badges. Start to be the big thing you need to accrue. The only way to get merit badges, you have to go to summer camp. This is when Boy Scouts becomes a paywall, effectively. If you want to make Eagle, or you want to get the higher ranks, you really don't have a choice but to go to Boy Scout camp every summer. Because that's the only place that you're getting merit badges in bulk. There are 21 required merit badges for Eagle. That all of the ones lined in silver are ones that you have to have. Or that there's some combination of that you have to have. Like, you either need to get swimming... or hiking, or cycling. Okay. You gotta get one of the 3. Doesn't matter which one, you just gotta get one of them. So, like, it becomes that. Like, in order to make Eagle Scout, you have to have, I think it's 50 merit badges. And, like, you're getting 4 or 5 a summer at summer camp. Yeah. Maybe more if you're taking dumber ones. Like, one of them was for Indian lore, and the BSA has gotten in trouble so many times for just giving out those merit badges, because they're like, you know nothing about Native Americans. And then they're like, nah, dude, 3 days at summer camp, take a class, you're going to make a headdress. Now you're an expert on the Navajo people.
Here's a merit badge.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, it's bad. Like, I can go through I know what most of them are that are on my thing. Some of them I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm not 1,000%. And then there's a couple of them, I don't know if they're on here anywhere. They're like, this one was for the Centennial. Like, there's special merit badges when they're like their anniversaries that they'll bring back that they've canceled in the past. Yeah. So this was tracking. Like, tracking animals for hunting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fucking sick, but like, it was weird. It's like, I don't know. I see why we canceled that.
Because why? Because you were...
Because I was in a fucking park in South Jersey trying to track down a porcupine as a 13-year-old. Just meandering, trying to mess with nature because, like, I want it to come out and I want to find it. Oh, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, that's how kids torture animals. Because if you teach them how to find them, a bunch of 13-year-olds that all have access to pocket knives... Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
They're gonna start fucking with them. You're gonna have some Jeffrey Dahmers on your hands.
It's the worst thing the Boy Scouts did. Like, first of all, I understand how useful a pocket knife is. There's not a day that goes by in my life now that I do not at some point use a pocket knife for something. Like, it is my of choice. I'm like, if there's a fucking tag on a shirt that I can't rip off using the pocket knife, I gotta scrape dabs out of a fucking little Tupperware container using the pocket knife. Yeah. Like, so it's like, it's just the normal thing, but like, the first time you go fishing and a fish dies because you can't get it back in the water now a kid's cutting up a fish because he saw one deadly as catch that they chummed the water. Yeah. Yeah. So now there's a kid that you have to share a tent with for the next 2 days covered in fish guts. You have to sleep next to him. You have to sleep next to him now. And you have to look him in the eyes when you go to school the next week.
Because
you
have to look at him as a human being.
A fish.
Yeah.
And you're like, your dad drove me to this fucking camping trip. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That sounds very, very real, Pete.
That's a real story. It's a real story. He's a real nice kid named Will now. But like, I remember being like, yeah, it died, dude. Throw it back in the water. And he's like, we're going to chum the water now. I was like, we're in a lake in Pine Hill, New Jersey. Oh my god, dude. Like, we're not.
He just wanted to pull it apart.
He just wanted to cut a fish up. But like, it's shit like that where you were just like, dude, like, we didn't all need knives. The first time I got a pocket knife, I cut the webbing of my finger so bad that I had to like. I just my parents never found out, or they were like, "That's play stupid games." Yeah. That could have also been the thing.
Talk shit, get hit. Yeah.
Yeah, or it was just like shit like that.
Yeah.
Where, like, 4th grade, they give you a fucking pocket knife.
That's great.
They're required to. You have to get a pocket knife by 4th grade in Cub Scouts because that's when you get your whittling shit.
I like whittling.
So you get whittling shit. That's how they let you have the pocket knife. Boy Scouts also does a cool thing with safety, where they like it really is a 3-strike. It's a 4-strike rule on all safety related things. Well, involving blades and fire. 4 strikes on all of them. So did you get far enough in Scouts where you learn about the blood circle?
No, there's a blood circle.
Yeah, okay. So when you're using a pocket knife, or if you're in like anytime you go camping in Boy Scouts, you like caution tape off an area where you're to cut up firewood. Like, so there's a saw, an axe, a hatchet in there, and it's like it has to happen. Yeah. Use the labor when you have it. Right. So like you'll have. Like when you get in there, it's all crowded. So what you have to do is you have to go loudly announce blood circle. You grab the blade of your knife, or you grab the axe or the hatchet by the sharp part, and then you have to do a 360-degree circle around you to make sure that you can't hit anybody.
Oh shit!
Because it's like if you wander inside of this, the odds of me stabbing you are relatively high as you get in here.
Okay.
Does that mean that kids did not get stabbed? No, I've only been stabbed 3 times in my entire life, and all of it was at Boy Scouts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, twice by my friend Delaney. If you're listening to this, Delaney Carr, fuck you. Stabbed me in the leg once because it was just dangling. We were in like a bunk cabin.
Just because it was there.
Yeah, it was just bad. It was just like we were in like bunk beds in a cabin, and my leg was just dangling, and he just it was like fucking pick your leg up. Second time we're playing Kill the Man with the Ball. And I picked it. You know, when you play Kill the Man with the Ball and you get tackled, you're supposed to like throw the ball up or something. Yeah. Not this motherfucker. You hit him repeatedly. He's just holding on. And you're like, what? So somebody picked him up with the intention of just dropping him. Yeah. And then, motherfucker fucking pulled out a pocket knife and was like, got me in the stomach. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
In the stomach?
Yeah, I got a little... I don't know if you can see it well. There's like a little scar, like right here.
Oh, yeah.
Just like...
Jesus Christ.
I was like, goddamn, dude. You can't...
Boy Scouts are fucking...
Jabbing your friends.
Aggressive, dude.
Yeah, it was real. Real wild.
Yeah, and that was one of the merit badges.
Yeah, stabbing your friend's merit badge. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, there's one for... yes.
What's the most insane merit badge, in your opinion?
That I've... Okay, there are ones that are just like... Who the fuck is going to get that? Mm-hmm. Like, fly fishing? Where you're like, where do you have... Like, that has to be like, it has to be like a regional merit badge. It has to be one that the only people who get them are people that, like, are in an area that is super common, prevalent in. Yeah. Railroading was one. I had friends that got that, like, from my troop that, like, got it because they were like, I just want to figure out what the fuck railroading could possibly be. Yeah. And there's a couple.
What is it?
It was really just like train studies. It was just like learning how like the railroads work and learning the science behind how trains stay on the track and kind of interesting stuff. Yeah. In hindsight, it probably would have been a fun one. Yeah. But yeah, so let's go through. What do I have? So we have Indian lore right here, as previously mentioned. This is a first year at summer camp move. So everyone's got Indian lore. So there's that, swimming, basketry, oceanography. Everyone else got some fucking dumbass merit badge or like arts. Actually, it was art, and I got that much later.
Some dumbass one that I got.
Yeah, some dumbass one that I eventually was like, yeah, I should get that. It's wherever the easel is, right there. Everyone else got that one this time. But I was like, no, I want to be an oceanographer. So I did that. Home repairs. Some of them were just like super sus. Oh, so the 2 funnest ones, I think, were most reasonable. This is entrepreneurship, and this is marketing. And I got those in the same summer at the same camp. And that was, like, very interesting to do. Because, like, I think it was entrepreneurship. It was me and one other kid in the entire camp that were taking it. Because it's not just your troop there. It's, like, 8 troops at a time, and you're all intermixed, like, going to all the merit badge classes and, like, these competitions at night. It's a very, Boy Scout camp it's a beautiful al dente experience for a young man. Yeah. But, like, me and this kid started a milkshake business in the camp for the week. It's like, started on day 1, we sent our counselor, like, all the money, we, like, sent him to go get, because there was, like, a surcharge with it. It was like, you gotta bring $70 with you if you're doing this class, because you're gonna need equipment. So we sent him to get a blender and a bunch of ice cream and milk, and we just made milkshakes. Like, there was, like, an hour a day during the class that we, like, it was a milk steak stand.
Oh, milk steak.
The cabin that we had built, that we were doing the class out of.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was kind of rad.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of cool that they were like, yeah, for a week, be a small business owner. All right.
And it's milkshakes.
And it was good. And I left with more money than I came with. Like, it was profitable, and you got to keep the profits.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, I think I came back with, like, $80 more than I left with. And I was like a 14-year-old. I was like, that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Can't shake a stick at that. Okay. The best one that I got. This is like the best one I can remember clearly is just being like because at a certain point, like when you're trying to make Star and Life, like the 2 ranks before Eagle.
What is it?
Star and Life are the 2 ranks before Eagle. When you're trying to get there, you're just like, I need any merit badges that will fill in these spots. Yeah. Because the first one is like, you need to get 3 of the required for Eagle, and then 5 other ones. So you're just like, I need to amass badges. And then at the end, if you're still in it by the time you're 16 or 17, you probably got all the badges you need, other than maybe a couple of Eagle required ones that are like, you're going to have to do that with a scout, like with someone in your troop, because like, you know, like personal finance, you have to like keep a budget of your life for like 10 months. So you can't do that over the course of summer camp. Like that's just not happening. Right. So like there is shit like that. But you get to the end and you're like, I'm here for a week and I don't need, nothing is required of me. So now I just have to do whatever wild shit. So like my last year at summer camp, my last year at Boy Scout camp, I got like these 6. And it was like, I got weather. I brought my bass, so I got the music merit badge. Nice. Forestry, which is like, that's whatever. That's a standard Boy Scout merit badge. Yeah. Like, I'm learning about trees.
I'm surprised you waited so long to get that.
Yeah, well, I got all the other nature ones much earlier. Yeah. This one was geocaching. That was kind of fun. You ever gone geocaching? Nah. Okay, are you familiar with what geocaching is?
I could guess, but I don't know.
Okay, so people, they literally just put trinkets in the middle of nowhere. Or if you pull up the geocaching website, and then you'd have to use the GPS coordinates to find your way to the trinkets. Yeah. And normally it's just like a pill bottle with like your name in it. And
I have
like filled out. They're all the people that have found it already. Yeah. It's cool. It's a nice time. So I did that. This one's kayaking. I was like, whatever.
Well, just real quick, the geocaching is cool when you like go to visit cities and stuff like that, because it's just like, it's usually cool like views or, you know, places to be anyways.
That'll be like a cool spot, or it'll be like a weird nature thing or a historical landmark to like hide them at. Yeah,
and then you like feel like you're a national treasure.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It's real fun. Yeah. That's like this one was search and rescue. And that was brand new, like, it came out like 3 weeks before I started, like, before I went to my last Boy Scout camp. Yeah. Which was insane. Because the first 3 days, you were learning about, like the triage stuff and, like, more in-depth first aid. Yeah. The last day, they do a simulated rescue mission in the camp. Yeah. So they, like, set up, like, they use like ATVs and shit to get people up on like fucking ledges and shit. Really? And you've got to like rappel to like get them. You've got to like learn the smoke signals to like bring in like if you had to bring in like a medical chopper to like flag them down and like to be able to like guide them in. It was crazy.
That's dope.
I was like, yeah, if this was what all Boy Scouts was, everyone would want to be a Boy Scout. I'm like, this is pretty sick.
Yeah. And you didn't even know that was like just one of the last ones.
I was just like, fuck it, like it seems fun. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a new badge.
That's tight. I was gonna say, do they still come out with badges?
They do. So they discontinue and they come out with new badges pretty regularly.
So like the racist ones and like the
Indian Lore is still around, but they should have got rid of that one. So the Centennial they brought back 4 like original badges that they'd gotten rid of, and then they brought back only for the year. So that was tracking, carpentry, signaling, which is if you have to do effectively learning how to do like Morse code and do like the flag signaling for the airplanes. And then there was another one that I did not get. But yeah, so like there's that, but like once science updates, they normally have a new science. Like there was I think like in the early 2010s they had like a pulp and paper, like a paper making thing as like non-wood paper stuff. That was cool. There's like, I've been a lot of like robotics stuff.
That makes sense.
Started over the past like couple of years. I'm trying to think. There's Search and Rescue is like the Search and Rescue and Geocache. I think actually all of these came out within like a year of me getting them. But I was like, let's get this new wave of badges. Yeah. And there are dorks every year. Like every year there's a new story that another scout got all of the badges.
Right.
And like the way that you do, like, they're all dorks. They're all homeschooled in the middle of nowhere. Because, like, okay, if you're in a troop, you need to have a merit badge counselor. Like, the parents in your troop and council, that's, like, effectively the parents governing body of your scout troop. Like, the troop leaders make decisions, and then there's, like, effectively the scouts PTA. It's like we're discussing the finances of this, and we're discussing like what's appropriate for our kids to do, and like all of those shits. So like, but like they have to get trained to like be like to teach these badges. So like if you're not in a big troop, chances are you've only got 1 or 2 badges that like someone in your troop is capable of teaching you.
That makes sense.
So like it's.
So like I mean it's probably harder for kids that are in like little small towns.
Well. That the problem is that's if you're in a troop.
Okay.
If you're the only scout in town, you're now what the BSA considers an independent scout. And because the assumption is you're not going to have the resources, your parent can sign off on whatever the fuck you want.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of the times, the kids that get every single merit badge are because, like, they're looking up the requirements online and they have to prove to their mom that they did it. They don't have to convince someone they don't have to convince like someone whose job it is every summer to teach these badges that they're doing it professionally. And they don't have to convince an adult that is impartial to them that they're able to do it. Like they're just like, yeah, mom, look at me. I did a play at school. You should sign off that I earned the theater merit badge. Yeah. And it's like, do they qualify for them? Most of the time, no. The gardening merit badge, it's not gardening. Most of it is hydroponics.
Oh, really?
And you need to have a fucking setup for that. Like, you can't be. You're not telling me that you're living in Lawrence, Kansas, and you have a giant hydroponic setup in your basement. That's and if you are, you're growing weed. Like,
or your parents are.
Yeah, I wanted to get the gardening merit badge as a fucking teenager. I was like, Mom, you should become. My mom loves gardening. I was like, you should become like you're a council member. You should become like a gardening merit badge counselor. And she's like, so much of that is hydroponics. She's like, I looked at it. She's like, so much of that is like, yeah, the counselor should have access to a $15,000 grow lab. And I was like, yeah, you can't do all that shit.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you will find out later on in life the kids were secret Boy Scouts.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah. So like, making Eagle's a big deal. Like, it's only 1% of kids do it. And you get a lot of, like, long-term benefits out of it.
Really?
If you go any government job, you start 2 pay grades higher.
Really?
Eagle Scout. If I joined the military, I would have started at E3 instead of E1.
That's tight.
Yeah, so it's like, you think about that, like, if you decide to go in the military after Scouts, which is the natural gearing towards it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a Scout and you can get into that regimented, like, I want to be an Eagle Scout, you probably fit exactly what the military is also looking for in a person. Particularly someone that they would be willing to put through like an ROTC program, or that you are going to be like an NCO. Right. That you may not be educationally have the background, but like you're definitely together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like they're assuming that people doing that are going to be more committed to sticking with it long term. Mm-hmm. So like that's rad. Yeah. That's super cool. Right. Do I necessarily know that that's worth it? I don't know. But it was enough that it almost got me to join the military.
Right.
Like, out of high school, I was going to join the Coast Guard.
Wow.
And then
what happened?
I cannot shit you not. I had gone to see the Coast Guard recruiter and the Navy recruiter.
Yeah.
I was pretty set on going to the Navy because I thought the Coast Guard was going to be it, and then I realized that everyone thinks they're bitches. That everyone else in the military is like, Coast Guard are pussies. There's water cops, which, by the way, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a cop, but you're telling me for 4 years I can be a boat cop? Yeah. That sounds pretty rad. Yeah. And I was like, that's actually so much more dangerous than being a regular cop is, I think. Because, like, at least if you're, like, you know, at least 90% of your job, if you're a regular police officer, is just regular old traffic stops with people who are like, I didn't realize that was a stop sign, my bad. Here's a ticket. Or it's like, oh, I gotta call this domestic dispute. I gotta make sure they break it up. Right. If you're in the Coast Guard, that's like everyone you're stopping that is not happy to see you, that is not in some sort of peril with their boat that they need your assistance on, probably is willing to kill you. Like, all of them. Like, if you see a boat trying to come across the Gulf of Mexico in the middle of the night, it's not a bunch of kids being like, whoop-de-doo! There's kilos of cocaine on that, and they're not keen on you getting it. It's like, yeah, I don't know about that. But I was in the Navy recruiter's office, literally, like, within minutes of signing the paperwork to be like, to commit to it and be like, I'm signing up. Ready to go as soon as I graduate. And then I got the CNN alert that Donald Trump announced his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I'll do a year of community college. If things are going, if the world is in a better place, I will gladly revisit this decision. But like, let's spend a year going to school and see how we feel. And then Trump became president, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, war crimes, let's wait that out. Like, I said it to my dad. I was like, look, this is unlikely. I was like, but that seems like a one-way ticket to war crimes. And I was like, I'm smart enough that I know that I would be involved in whatever bad thing they were doing. Like, I'm intelligent enough that they would identify me as an option, and they were like, oh, we'll work above his pay grade.
Yeah, he'll do it. It's fine.
Yeah, he'll do it. Like, yeah, I can't.
And you would. You know, you'd go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the one committing. I'd be the one covering it up. And I'm like, I don't want any part of that. I'm too anxious.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I didn't end up doing that. I was like, all right, well, all this hard work of being an Eagle Scout. Yeah. For nothing?
No,
not for nothing. Obviously not for nothing. It's the single thing. It's the thing I'm the most proud of ever. Really? Like, yeah, if anything else I've done, I'm like, that is the thing. Because, like, no one, it's me and Neil Armstrong, and former Phillies outfielder Shane Victorino, and any Mormon celebrity, actually. That's the thing that I would say. Boy Scouts of America is built into the religious education of a lot of the Latter-day Saint churches. So, like, if you know a Mormon and they are above the age of 16 and they are a boy, chances are they are probably an Eagle Scout. Wow. Because it's just built into their thing. Yeah. Which is crazy. I don't necessarily understand why or how they did that, but they have. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you learned a lot of valuable skills. I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to integrate into.
I definitely don't think it's at all. Like, you learn all. The only reason that I have any air quote man skills is because of Boy Scouts. Like, there's a reason that I'm the one that knows how to fix people's cars. Right. And it's like, because I got my automotive maintenance merit badge. Like, it's like, I had, like, it really is just like if you're a hands-on learner and you're a teenage boy listening to this, fucking go to Boy Scout camp. Yeah. Join the Scouts, go to Boy Scout camp. It is for $400, you have a week where you get to learn cool shit. And, like, that's really, like, that's what it comes down to. It's mad cool. Now we're into the bullshit of Scout. So I'm an Eagle Scout.
Talking some shit.
The thing that you have to do to become an Eagle Scout, in addition to getting all the badges and spending time, also, I should start, from star forward, there's time requirements. It's like you have to be active in your troop as a first class for 4 months to become star, 6 months to make life, and then a year to make Eagle. So, like, if you have not made star by the time you are 15 and a half, 16, the game's over. It's like you're not making it. There's a 0% chance that you can come back from it. Yeah. Which is kind of annoying, but also, like, I get. And then you also have to have, like, a leadership position by that point. So, like, there's your normal, like, patrol, rustle up in the patrols, which is normally by age group. So, like, you're in patrols, and then you have the larger is the troop. So you could be the patrol leader, assistant patrol leader,
Right.
Senior patrol leader, ASPL, assistant senior patrol leader. Those are like president and vice president of the troop. Wow. I was an ASPL. I was never.
Pete over here.
Well, no, you get to a certain point where most kids your age have quit.
Right.
And then those naturally become the people that are like the ones that are still there, are like have the largest understanding of how this. Because it's a popularity contest for SPL. Because that's everyone's voting to be like, let's do it. Yeah. ASPL is like who the Scoutmaster to like, all right, yeah, no, if he's the one running the show, you two need to make sure that he doesn't do that dumb of shit. It's like, all right, I got you. Yeah, I can deal with that. Nice. So it was one of those, and that's cool. That was all fun. But then there was like bullshit ones. You'd be the treasurer, and it's like, wait, what 14-year-olds any concept of money? So like that was a weird thing. The treasurer, the quartermaster was probably the most fun thing because you were the guy in charge of delegating people to load and unload up the trailer. Yeah. Like we had like our Boy Scout troop had like a tow behind trailer that we would load up all of like the scouts, like the troop equipment. So like there was like, you know, stoves for all the patrols to like cook with when you had to make food on a camping trip and all that stuff. But like all of that, like gas, like propane lanterns and shit, like all of that was in the thing. And that's also where we loaded up all of our like bags and stuff when we went on camping trips. So like you got to dictate. I did that for a little bit. You just got to be like the fucking, you guys take them all out. You also you were playing God because you're the one who distributed the tents to people. So you would know which ones were like bad, and you could be like, little kids, you guys get that one. Dude, I don't like. This tent leaks and is moldy. It's yours for the weekend. And if you don't bring it back not moldy, I'm going to say that you brought it back moldy. That you're the one that did this, and then you have to buy a new tent. Damn.
Pete, dude, come on.
Dude,
he deserved this.
I didn't realize anything about like I was reading an article before I came about how like so there's a thing called Order of the Arrow, which is like Scouting's honor society. And they're like mad racist against Native American people. The entire concept of it. That started on Treasure Island, which was up until the mid-2000s a scout camp run by the Cradle of Liberty Council, which is Philly's Boy Scout Council. Yeah. It is in the middle. It is an island on the Delaware River in between Pleasantville, New Jersey, and a town in Pennsylvania. And the entire thing is white dudes dressed in Native American headdresses. Just nonsensing. Just like, Umbashala, it is so fun. It is such a horrible thing culturally. Yeah. But it is Scouts Honor Society. Like, they have like been like 1,000%.
You went out on the island?
No, so that's like a super fun site now. They're like, you can't have children on that. No, I did it like my local Boy Scout camp has a chapter of it. I'm the Tackenning Lodge. That's my lodge name.
But the fact that they got a whole island though, like that's
it was just a scout camp, and the Boy Scouts of America owns plots of land all over the country that are exclusively for scout usage that no one else can get into. Yeah. So like the biggest ones, like the ones that people have heard of if they're not Boy Scouts, are like Philmont is like the big one. That's in like New Mexico. Those are the high adventure camps as well, what they are. So you have Philmont, you have Sea Base, which is that's in Florida, and that's like all scuba themed. And then you have Bechtel, and I think there's another one that I'm mistaking, but those are like the premier, like this is gonna be a fucking event. Yeah. Things like Philmont, you are hiking and you are riding a horse. Like, oh wow. Over the course of the weekend, you'll have hiked like 150 miles. There's nothing comes in, nothing comes out. You are digging a hole and pooping in the ground, or you are bagging it up and taking it with you. It's insane.
Is that a badge?
No, it's not a badge. You got like a thing. Like I have the Leave No Trace Award on the back. Yeah. You get, if you do that stuff, you got a thing to put on the back of the sash.
Nice. So you have pooped in a bag?
No, I didn't go to Philmont. That shit was expensive. Also, you need to get your whole troop to do stuff like that. Which was the reason. So what I was saying, how there's ways to extend your scout stuff. Order of the Arrow isn't super popular around here, at least in Scouts, because you're supposed to vote people into it. And much like the SPL stuff, it becomes a popularity contest as opposed to like who's actually like a admirable scout, I guess would be the words to put it. Mm-hmm. So like it's not very common around here, but the benefit that you get is that you don't age out until you're 24 now. You can keep doing Order of the Arrow stuff until you're 24. They consider you a youth. Because that's part of the problem with Boy Scouts. I don't know if you remember when we were kids. Mm-hmm. Boy Scouts, they'd always loosely not allowed gay people. Mm. But there was an event that happened in the early 2000s. It's actually the church I grew up in was, prior to this happening, the second largest charter of Boy Scout troops in the country, behind the Mormon Church, behind LDS people. Mm-hmm. Was Unitarian Universalists, and they cut all of their things because they banned gay people. Now, the reason that they banned gay leaders is here. Also, they made it very strict about who's allowed to sleep in the same tents as each other thing. Yeah. 18 is such an arbitrary number when you think about it in terms of that, because you've been with these people for years. Right. The story goes, a kid, I think he was from North Jersey, a kid is an Eagle Scout, he's been in his troop from the time he was able to be a Boy Scout until he aged out. He was active in his troop. Mm-hmm. When he went to college, he became an assistant scoutmaster of his old troop. Because he was like, when I'm home, I want to hang out with my friends still. All of my friends are still in scouts that aren't the same age as me, so I'm going to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. Well, while the kid was at school, realized he was gay. Came back, went on a camping trip with his Boy Scout troop that he's now an assistant scoutmaster of, stayed in a tent with his friends that were 17, because he's an 18-year-old. Stayed with the same people that he was camping with 3 months prior when he was 17. He came out to them. They didn't take it well. Oh. Well then, the Boy Scouts of America, instead of being like, maybe we need to have clearer rules about who's allowed to become a scoutmaster, because like, who is... If you're in the troop like that will lead to odd legal issues, with like having adults around children, despite the fact that like they all knew each other before they were an adult. They were like, oh yeah, no more gay people. Instead of being like, we need to make much clearer rules so that this confusion cannot happen again. DSA is like, yeah, no more gay people, no gay leaders, no gay kids, no gays. No gays. Jesus. No gays. That's crazy. Part of the change that they made though was then they were like, if you're in Order of the Arrow, you're considered a kid until you're 24. So you don't have to change your status of things, so that there's not that risk of a weirdness. Because part of the thing is that like, of kids that were really into Boy Scouts, and this is not to toot my own horn, I'm the anomaly that I'm social. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Scouts we're not known as a people. Much like comics, we're not known as the most social of butterflies. Right. Yeah. So if you turn 18 and suddenly they're like, you're not allowed to see your friends anymore. Yeah. This thing that you do, the only thing that you feel comfortable doing, A, you can't do it anymore, and B, if you do find a way to still be involved in that, now you can't operate in the same sphere in which you. Yeah, you're a level. Yeah. So now Order of the Arrow comes in, and they're like, until you're 24. Give you time to get a new hobby. Right. We are considering you a child. We're considering you a youth member. Oh, wow. Which is, I hate to admit it, genuinely a good thing for these autists. these mouth breathers. Really, it's a good thing that they're doing. It's a good thing that they do for them. That they're like, you got fucking, 6 more years. If you need 6 more years to fucking behave. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Like, you can have fun. You want to wear feathers and dance in a field? Sick, dude. Radical. Yeah, yeah. Because then you need dorks to run those things. Right. And again, it's cocky, but like, there was a kid he's not even a kid, he's a man. He's like 6 years older than me. There's a man named Francis that I knew. He's now like a scout executive, which as a kid was like my dream job. Yeah. Was to get a degree and then work for Boy Scouts of America, running like... organizing all of the troops in the area. You can still do it, Pete. I believe in you. Yes, I can't now. And not for any reason other than it's like, I would kill myself. But I got cool in the meantime, and that was the problem. When I was a dork, I was like, I want to be a Boy Scout forever. Yeah. Now I'm like, I like people thinking I'm cool. I like having friends that like, I don't know. Look, when my friends are being mouth breathers, it's because they did too much coke now. You know what I mean? As opposed to us being like, I have a deviated septum. My asthma's bugging me. And then be like, and I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know if I could go back to that. Like, they're all dorks. But they're like good folks.
They're good people.
Like, they're good people.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess this is my last thing. This, like, kind of bullshitty about Scouts. Not bullshitty. It's the Eagle Scout Project. Now, that's a thing that I think ancillarily people, like, understand about Scouts. That they're like, oh, I know that you gotta do a big project at the end. Yeah. It's insane.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, some places, like, some people really luck out. And not luck out, because when I say luck out, they're not doing the correct thing. Mm-hmm. But, like, you're supposed to plan this project and fundraise it and, like, acquire the manpower to do it, like, get enough volunteers to help you build the thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I did that. I put a new flagpole in my sister's school. Like, it was about to fall over onto a church next door. It was like, they're going to take out some power lines, too. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, that's a safety issue. We're going to take care of that. Mm-hmm. So, like, I put a new flagpole and I regraded the area, like, because it was like a grass thing people kept parking in. So I regraded it so that it would stay flat and the people would stop parking in it. All this cool stuff. And I had to fundraise, like, a little over $5,000 to, like, make this happen as a 16-year-old. Right. Then some kids would see that a place was about to do work. And they'd be like, hey, I saw you got all those pallets of tiles. Like, do you want us to just repave this walkway? And then they'd write it off as being like, oh, yeah, well, they donated the equipment. Like, they donated the materials. Damn. Yeah. And they made the initial investment, and I'm donating the manpower. That's my Eagle Scout project. Jeez. And I'm like, you're telling me I could have just loitered around old people homes until something needed to get fixed. And instead, I just undertook a year and a half of, like, logistics. I had to buy... Do you know how crazy it is to buy a flagpole? Like, an industrial flagpole.
Yeah,
I bought a 30-foot-long flagpole.
How do you do that?
You research flagpole manufacturers, and then you hire a flatbed to go pick it up and drive it from central Pennsylvania to southern New Jersey. And then you get 7 of your boys and the fire department. And don't forget, we were chartered out of the fire department, so that was the only thing they were able to help me with. I was like, hey, I want to rent a cherry picker to line this up. Can you just bring a fire truck? Can you just bring a fire truck with a big ass ladder, and can you guys just guide this into the ground? Like, I can't. Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah, and they helped with that.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of my friends to come help with that. It was a good time, and like it worked out all right. Yeah. But like I had to like, some of them were non-scouts that I had to get to help on the first time, because the flagpole showed up at 1:00 on a Thursday. First off, school's going on into the school that they're delivering this flagpole to. Right. Second off, I'm in high school. Like, I'm in high school actively. Yeah. Like, and you don't get your license till you're 17 in Jersey. So I'm in high school. I have to walk home, tell my mom, be like, hey, Mom, I need you to drive me to Emma's school. Yeah. Because I have to go somehow, with 3 other 16-year-old boys, get this flagpole into the ground.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you did it.
It was good. It was a good time. It was worth it. That really was worth it. The school, fucking, yeah, my biggest pet peeve in the entire world. Ready? I'm installing the flagpole. And I go, hey, are you guys going to take the flag down every day? Like, are you guys going to have like a presentation where you put the flag up and take it down every day? Because if not, I need to install a light. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I think it's most states, but at least in Jersey, if you're not taking an American flag down, you have to have it lit up. Or else it's some sort of like ticketable offense. How do I think they enforce that? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But it's like just the right thing to do. If you're having the flag of your country, you should have it fucking presented well. Sure. They're like, yeah, every day, every single day, we're going to start the day bringing all the kids outside. We're going to raise the flag. And we're going to end every school day by taking all the kids outside. We're going to bring the flag down. And I was like, that's sweet. That's awesome. My sister attended the school for 4 more years. Never took the flag down. Ever. They didn't even do the first day.
They didn't try it once and they kind of teeter out.
Yeah, they never did it. I was like, it would have been $40 extra for me to wire a solar light onto this.
Jeez.
I was like, this would not have been a big deal. This would have been 45 minutes and $40 of me just mounting this.
Yeah. And they just were...
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing ever. I was like, why the fuck would you do that?
Because they wanted to come across as, like, noble and then, like, tell you that they were going to do it and then just never did.
Let's fucking do it then.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like you posed them and, like, cornered them into that situation. They could have just been like, yeah, put the light on. Like, hey, that's the thing is, like, put the light in because we could still take the flag down and just not use the light. But, like you said, it's $40 and, a couple extra minutes there.
Yeah. We also had, like, you ever seen those signs, like, they'll get a little placard in the mail that's like, call 411 before you dig. To call 311. So, like, or it might be, I think it's 811 now that I'm saying it. So you call 811 to call, and the gas and water companies will come out and flag where the pipes are. Okay. Well, I called them. I was like, hey, I'm digging, and I have to take a big, like, drill to the ground in a couple days. Because you have to burrow out a fucking hole for a flagpole. Right. Like, we need to make a big ass hole in the ground. I'm like, cool, so we'll be out there, like, in, like, 2 Thursdays from now. And I was like, well, I'm digging on Saturday. Like, we gotta wait. And I was like, well, I'm gonna start praying. I was like, because we're digging on Saturday. Like, Saturday, we were taking a big ass hole in the ground. So I'd recommend you move that up in your schedule, or else a school will explode. Yeah. Potentially. A school and a church will potentially explode. And it'll be on you. And it's your fault. Yeah. And so did they come out? They came out. No, they came and marked out the ground 3 weeks after I did the project. They came out and marked flagged it. I was like, I don't need that now. Thank you for the assistance. Nice. Yeah. But yeah, the funnest part about making Eagle is the letters. Oh, the letters? Okay. When you make Eagle, as soon as you get the card, it's like a little ID card to identify that you've made Eagle. It's supposed to be done without your knowledge. Your parents or your scoutmaster, any celebrity that is an Eagle Scout, if you make Eagle, will send you a letter, will write you a letter. Really? I have one from Mike Rowe. I have one from Neil Armstrong. And now, the Neil Armstrong is 100% a form letter that he just, signed on the bottom. I don't know if it's actually his signature or if it's, laser printed on. Yeah. But, you can... Any celebrity that's an Eagle Scout will do that. Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs is, the number one guy. Yeah. You don't even need to, he keeps up on, the fucking, Boy Scouts of America. He does? Record updates. You don't even need to ask him. A lot of the time, he'll just unrequitedly be like, yo, saw that you made Eagle. That's fucking rad. Yeah, hell yeah. Being a Boy Scout is my favorite thing I've ever done in my life. And, Mike Rowe made it so much cooler for me personally to want to be a Boy Scout. Because, I don't know, man. He is so interesting. You watched Dirty Jobs as a kid before, right? I have not, no. Okay, it was a show on the Discovery Channel where this guy named Mike Rowe would go and, he would do the worst jobs in America, the grossest jobs. Because his idea was that, oh, I do know this guy. Yeah. He's got a bunch. He has a couple shows. Effectively, all of them have the same concept. Yeah. Where he just does gross jobs. Look, this is cool. They are, yeah. It's literally... Dirty Jobs, somebody's got to do it. So, yeah. Returning the favor. Yeah, it's all the same show, just on different networks. Yeah. But, he's so interesting, because he, his entire life, he was like, I want to be in construction. I want to work construction. I want to build stuff. And then, in the late 80s, you have that movement of, work hard, work smart, not hard. Right. Where they were like, everyone should be going to college. If you can go to college, you should be going to college. Mm-hmm. So then he went to college, and then this man spent 4 years in the Baltimore Opera, being an opera singer. Really? And then he was like, fuck it, no, I want to go back to construction. Went to college, became an opera singer, and I was like, fuck it, actually, I've been thinking about it. Been thinking about it. I much preferred cleaning up human waste. Jesus, that's awesome, though. Yeah, so I can see why. Why you, as an Eagle Scout, would look up to this Eagle Scout. Yeah, that he was like, "This is cool." If you look up famous Eagle Scouts, half of them are astronauts and half of them are serial killers. It's Shane Victorino, Neil Armstrong, Mike Rowe, Lee Harvey Oswald. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's because that's the thing. If you look up that's the other fucked up Boy Scout fact. If you look up every mass shooter in United States history or serial killer. they all did one of two things. They were either in the military or they were a Boy Scout. There's only two places that you can get mass weapons training.
Right.
That you would have training to a firearm from a young age.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no age requirement on rifle shooting at Boy Scout camp.
Yeah.
Your first year, you can be like, I want to shoot shotguns. And they're like, well, that's from 4 to 6 every day. That's when you go to the range to shoot shotguns, little boy. And they're like, keep it down range. That's the only rule. The rule is keep the gun down range, don't point it at other people. Short of that, fucking have fun, boys.
Yeah. That's a good rule.
It's a great rule.
Of any rules, yeah. That's the
rule.
one to be.
But you hear like you hear like badass stories that as the older I get, the more they seem like nightmare fuel. Like Boy Scout troops of like on like military bases where like, you know, it's like just a troop for like the kids of the families of the troops.
Yeah.
Like, I got my rifle merit badge with M14s.
Jesus.
And you're like, yeah, that was supposed to be like a locking, like, one more bullet in.
Yeah.
You're like, no, semi-automatic weapons. We were using AKs for. And I was like, well, that's insane. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, there should be rules against that specifically.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can either create, like, a harness, like a serial killer or a badass motherfucker, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like, also, it's like lots of dorks. Like, it's, most of them are dorks.
Well, like you said, it's like, I'm not the most manly man or whatever, but, like, you know, people like us, it's like, if you know how to fix a tire, you know, that's...
Yeah, it's, like, way above the normal curve of what people know how to do now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think most of my practical knowledge is coming from Scouts.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, the ethereal things are not. Like, I didn't learn about baseball statistics in Boy Scouts.
They could.
I mean, I got my sports merit badge. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Also, you lose them.
Yeah, they just
physically
fall
they fall off. Like, there's one.
Is there a book though of like records besides?
Yes, yeah. I should have brought my Scout book. It's literally like it's just the Boy Scout handbook, and then in the back you've got all of like the stuff you need to get signed off on by your Scoutmaster for all the ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Yeah, that's funny. I think we've covered all of Boy Scouts. The bullshit. We got the way you work up your ranks.
Yeah.
Covered the pedophilia. I think
the only thing I really covered is like the generalized homoeroticism of a lot of it. Like a lot of gay shit happens. And then they're like, no, I wasn't gay. And you're like, I think that might have been gay. That could have been a smidgen gay, don't you think? Like, a lot of things that now are a problem. Like, I was never the hazy type of kid. Like, I was never like, I was bullied the new kids. The group of kids right below me. The last summer, so I didn't like, when I was 17, I didn't go to summer camp. And I was like, got all my badges. Like, I work, can't spend a week just like disappearing. Which again, I regret. It would have been fun.
Yeah. But
what happened that trip, the kids all year younger than me all started committing what now would be considered sexual assaults.
Jesus Christ.
But like frat house, tomfoolery sexual assaults. Yeah. Like sneaking in new kids' tents and putting their balls on their face. Or like... But they're like, I remember being like 15 at Boy Scout camp doing this like high adventure course thing. I was called COPE. It was just like high adventure stuff for like kids that had gotten most of their badges already. And I was hyped. It was gonna be sick.
Yeah.
17-year-old kid from another state, didn't know him. He was like a 13-year-old kid. 17-year-old like 6'3", 6'4". He's a full-grown man. Had a plastic water bottle. This kid got kicked out and they pressed charges. Took a 13-year-old kid. Pulled him in the bushes in between, like, the stops that we were going. It was like a zip line course, like walking from point A to point B. Pulled him in the bushes, shoved a plastic water bottle up his ass.
Jesus Christ!
And then was like, the kid didn't say anything about it for like a day, and then cops came and arrested the kid in the camp. And I was like, I think. Everyone's always like, did you get molested in the Boy Scouts? It's like, no. The leaders are not the ones being crazy. Being like, I want to touch little kids' buttholes. Yeah. It's like angry teenagers that are like, I'm going to make them feel as weird as I feel. They seem happy. Like, that's the bet. And honestly, if you get any gathering of... Like, if you're like, yo, this is a group for 11 to 17-year-old boys. Like,
some weird,
shit like that's gonna happen. And like, it's not a let boys be boys. Like, you should kick those kids out and not let them stay.
Yeah,
but
and
also,
press charges.
And press charges.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, the water bottle kid, definitely.
For
the
sure.
Arabian goggles boy, I don't know. That's a little bit more of a gray area. I think it's a little more of like, I thought we were better boys than we are, and you think that this is a big deal. Like, I thought this was a gag for the homies. Because like I don't know.
But if you get that group of people together, it's just gonna.
Particularly because like we're not well socialed people.
Yeah, but like, what were you gonna say? You're like, you should kick them out. You should press charges.
But like, you can't be surprised when these things happen.
Right.
Where it's like, you can't be like the Boy Scouts of America allows a rape culture, and it's like that's not true.
Entirely accurate.
That's not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not. It doesn't enable it. It creates a circumstance for it to happen.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I mean,
it's like saying Mount Doom
11 to 15-year-old boys are just a hazard in society as well.
In society,
yeah,
you shouldn't let them around anybody.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Like, Also, you can just tell the weirdos that like are professional scouts.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was this one guy at summer camp went to a couple times. Big rule: you weren't allowed to wear your underwear in the pool.
What?
Like, you weren't allowed to wear an underwear layer underneath your bathing suit.
Why?
Because for whatever reason, that summer camp had a higher level of like water purification standards than the drinking water in the state of Pennsylvania. Like, I want to say it's like the state of Pennsylvania allows, and this is not to, I don't think it's bad water. Allows like, it was like 1 parts per million of fecal matter per every like 999,999 parts of water. This guy is like, if there was 0.0000000000001% poop in the pool, pool's closed for the day. We gotta shock it.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I don't want to take my dick out for people to get changed.
Yeah,
like you're getting changed in the locker room with a fucking YMCA in the woods, and you're like, I don't necessarily know if I want my pee-pee hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, we're taking, like, and this is an age where, like, everyone's just, like, group showers at Boy Scout camp, and no one is naked during it. Everyone was wearing a bathing suit, and just, like, being, like, fucking, trying to shake it out of them. Yeah. Like, no. Me, naked, never. I've never bathed.
Never in my entire life.
No, what are you, gay or something? You're naked in the shower? Like,
when you look at your own dick, dude, that's fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think that situation though. I mean, it's just like boys be boys. You know?
Yeah. Also, and like puberty is a weird time to be going through during all of that. Like I had like 15 years of confidence in my penis because I was the first person of my age group to hit puberty. So like at Boy Scout camp, I was the first one to be like, I honestly don't care if y'all see me naked. It's okay. I'll just take the shower. Yeah. And then they're like, you have the biggest pee-pee that I've ever seen. And then I was confident for like 15 years. For like 13 years, from like 11 to 24. And then I had the epiphany a couple months ago. I was like, I don't think I'm dealing with anything. I think I'm all right with what I'm working with. I also think that those were children seeing what I now understand to be a man's penis. Where I was like, no, I've been this height since 6th grade. I've been this height since like 6th or 7th grade. So this is like 7th or 8th grade that I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Who cares, dude? I'm skinny. If I was a fat kid, I'd have a bigger issue being naked. Like, we're good. Then be like, you got a big old dick. And then they'd be like, I do have a big old dick. Fucking spread that around school, boys. Like, circulate that.
Sickle.
And then like, have I ever had a complaint? No. But now I'm like, I think I have a suspicion. The fact that I was 5'10" and all of my friends were like between 4'11" and 5'3", that probably had more to do
with anything.
Anything. But yeah, dude, kids being like, can we all pull our dicks out to make sure all of them are normal? And it's like, yeah, I'll take one for the team. I'll take one gay moment per year to be like, hey, we're all making sure we're all developing correctly.
Oh my god.
That's normal. Yours is like that. Cool. All right. Well, all right. We're good.
We're good. Everybody's good.
Everything is fine. We're all kind of.
One dude like, ew.
What fucks up? It's yours. It's like, it's a mole that's been here forever. And then it's like, don't worry, man. Mine's on the underside. You just can't see it. You can't see my dick mole.
Yeah. Sorry about it, bud. You got unlucky with that one.
Yeah, you got unlucky with the placement of your dick mole.
Alright, Pete. I think
I'm
that's
ready to wrap up.
Yeah, wrap. I
Scout
think
talk.
that's talking
I'm ready to
about
come back on some of Scouts anytime, dude. I'll get into deep shit with it.
Hell yeah, dude. Alright, appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks, Pete, for coming out. Appreciate y'all. I love you. Amen. Okay, bye. Hey. Salutations, skaters. Hey.